Yo, bendición, what up, everybody? This is El Conquistador back with another video. So I want to touch on a topic that I usually don't touch on. If you haven't seen my last video, it's on Ocha. Today we're going to talk about espiritismo, spiritism. I want to talk about the power of tobacco. Okay. There are different grades of tobacco. I want to talk about how tobacco is used as a tool to connect with your guías espirituales, with your spirit guides. Even if you don't know who they are, I'm going to be specific and then I'm going to be vague. I'll start with vague. If you don't know who your guía principal is, that's fine. I always say, go for the strongest. That's your number one bet. I want to preface this with, there should be nothing that a spiritualist uses as a crutch to connect with their guides. Meaning, if you're in front of your bóveda and you have to have a cigar lit every time, you have to have an incense lit every time, or you have to take a swig of liquor for, I don't feel my muerto unless I take a couple shots of rum and then I start feeling them come down. These are tools. These are physical tools that are not necessary to connect with spirit. It helps, and it helps in the development of the medium. I myself am developing, but there should be no such thing as a crutch. If you have to smoke weed to feel your spirit, if you have to drink to feel your spirits, if you have to smoke tobacco to feel your spirits, if you have to have a candle lit to feel your spirits and set a mood every time, like for me, in the past, I used to have to need music because I'm a musical person and I enjoy the noise. I enjoy hearing the drums, or the bells, the maracas. But after years of development, I've trained myself to the point where I still enjoy those things. You know, I love going to a fiesta de muerto and just listening to the drums and letting my muerto dance and manifest. But that same muerto that wants to come down and dance, listening to loud drumming, should be able to manifest at a misa where there's just simple prayers or silence. So I don't want anybody to think that I'm just giving a video on a crutch. You want to bring down your indio, just smoke a pipe and boom, there he's gonna come down. If that is the case and he only comes down, your muerto only comes down when you got something in your system, then you have more spiritual development to do. But we're all works in progress. I used to be where like I needed a shot of rum, I needed cigar, and to set the mood, and I needed loud music to feel anything. Now that's not the case. So if I can do it, you can do it. But back to the topic. So there's different tobaccos. The dark, thick cigars. These are fancy. These are expensive. These are like $10 a pop if you're in New York. And if you're lucky enough to be in a state that's like Pennsylvania, or basically anywhere that's like the South, basically Pennsylvania and the South, you will find tobacco much cheaper. If you're in New York, if you're in Connecticut, then it's going to be expensive. This costs $10. I paid $10 for this. I have seen in the past $3 for one. They're called the throwaways. Either way, the dark aged tobacco like this, very, very strong. When you want to call on when do you like this? You want to call on, you use this kind of tobacco to call on your Native American spirits, the Comisión Indio, the cimarrones, the negros, the congos, especially the congos, especially the Indios, even male or female. Not every single Congo is going to enjoy this. Maybe you have a Congo in your cuadro espiritual that prefers more of is more like a negro fino, where they're not going to take, when they come down or you want to service them, It's not like if they manifest and they mount a person. Sometimes, for the most part, you'll see them to take a big old cigar like this. They'll bite the end, chew it, spit it out, and they'll light this up and they'll take long puffs. That would give anybody else nausea. Maybe your negro is more of a negro fino or negra fina, a fine, refined, where that's not having to do with anything of intelligence to say, oh no, if you smoke this, you're like a dummy. No, maybe they like the more finer, thinner, delicate kind of smokes or liquors. Not every Congo is gonna come down chugging rum. Maybe he asked for, let me get wine. Let me get wine in a jicra as opposed to rum in a jicra, gin in a jicra. Let me get let me get beer, whatever. But yes, this kind of tobacco, very, very good for calling your Native American spirits. Very, very good for calling your Congo spirits. Ta Francisco, ta Jose, ta Manuel, ta Felipe, Negro Julio. Those kinds of spirits. Also pipes. Pipes are very, very good if you want to call on your Congos, your Congas. Pipes are very good for calling on your Native Americans. They will smoke. I've seen them. They come down and they smoke a cigar. They will smoke a pipe. Pipes are very good for calling on, if you have a pirata, a pirate, or marinero within your cuadro espiritual. Smoke a pipe. This is an anisette cigar. Smells very good. Very good for calling your Arabes. If you have an Arab in your cuadro espiritual, get a more fine cigar that has a nice smell to it. Again, just as much, you can call on your Arab, you can call on anyone using this. But if you know that your gypsy is maybe a more refined female flamenco dancer, then this wouldn't be their preference. It would probably be more something like this, where it's a thin, this happens to be a cigar, but most commonly cigarettes. This is, has a tip, and this is what you would use to call gypsies, the Spanish ones specifically, because not every gypsy is Spanish. Some are Hindu, some are Egyptian, some are Romanian, some are Russian, whatever you happen to have in your spiritual frame. Anything else that I want to preface this with? I think it's it. Again, none of these should be used as a crutch. Another thing I want to talk about as a tool. When you smoke your bóveda, don't just smoke your bóveda and get in front of your bóveda. Hold on, let me light this up real quick. When you smoke, you can also smoke yourself as you clean yourself. So when you go in front of your bóveda, you smoke, and you smoke them all. But smoke yourself. So you're sitting down in front of your bóveda, pick up your foot, and you smoke your foot, you smoke your feet. Do both of your feet, smoke your hands. Take this, you put it in your mouth backwards. Don't be afraid. Is that this? And you smoke yourself, and you clean yourself with that smoke. This is all to call your spirit guides. But in your head and aloud, you're calling, hey, I'm calling Negro XYZ, whatever his name is. A whole video I really, really want to do, which is a super important concept. It does not matter what name you give your particular spirit guide. If you find out, you have a Congo spirit that walks with you, and he looks like this and this and this, and you don't get a name, feel free to give that spirit any name that you so desire. Name does not matter. When and if you ever get a name for that particular spirit that walks with you, then you can name him what he is. In the meantime, call him, if you don't know what his name is, call him Negro Francisco, call him Ta Jose, call him Don Julio, call him whatever you want. Call him freaking Max, whatever. As long as in your head you know who it is that you're addressing. If you don't know who your guía principal is, then you just service all of them. If you're like still developing and you don't know your guides, just use a good quality cigar, smoke the entire bóveda. Not every single spirit enjoys smoke, but if you have no idea who enjoys what, then you smoke and you use a good quality cigar. But for the most part, your average person knows, okay, I have at least this kind of person walk with me. I'm Latino. I'm Puerto Rican Dominican. I know I have slaves in my cuadro espiritual. I know I have Spaniards in my cuadro espiritual. I know I have Taino in my cuadro espiritual. I know I have Portuguese in my cuadro espiritual. So I can safely take this and be like, yo, somebody smoked this. Be it a slave or a Spaniard or a Taino, whatever. But just tobacco in general. If you're Chinese, and maybe this was not available back then, I don't know if the Chinese back like hundreds of years ago smoked tobacco. But feel free, use this strong tobacco. It really enhances the mood and just the smells. Don't smoke to the point where you get nauseous. If you start feeling nauseous, leave the room or smoke. If you're not a big smoker, smoke them all, smoke yourself. What I do sometimes, I'll smoke and then I'll just take a deep breath because the smoke's over here so that you don't get nauseous, and then just put the tobacco down on the bóveda, on the plate or whatever you happen to have, so you can set this down on the ashtray, whatever, because you don't want to get nauseous. But it's a wonderful, wonderful tool. And as you develop, you'll notice little things. Like in the beginning, speaking for myself, man, in the beginning, when I used to feel my muerto close to me, I would get nauseous in my stomach. Even if I wasn't smoking, I would just get nauseous. That nausea has gone away as I've developed. In the beginning, I needed a shot of rum. I needed tobacco smoke. I needed the sounds of bells and maracas and drumming playing from YouTube playing in the background. Now I don't need any of that. So if you feel like you need something, then use it, but try to slowly wean yourself off. You shouldn't need tobacco smoke, but if you want to bring a particular muerto close to you, a mí me siento mi Congo está cerca, I feel my Congo spirit close to me, grab a cigar, sit down, get a glass of water and a candle, and sit down and in your head or aloud, estoy llamando mi negro, I'm calling on my Congo spirit, whatever name you want to address him as. And you say your prayers, you say your Our Father and your Hail Mary, and whatever resonates with you. If you're Muslim, use Salah and say the prayer, the call to prayer. If you're Jewish, whatever prayer works for you. So I hope this was helpful to somebody who's still developing. Like I said, we're all works in progress. Don't ever be jealous at anybody else's spiritual progress or spiritual evolution, because we all started somewhere. Not all of us are like the freaking Mozart of Espiritismo, or just a prodigy, I certainly wasn't. I was gonna go into Ifa. Years later, like 3 years later, now I'm at my bóveda and I'm feeling the corrientes, feeling the currents, as we say in Spanish. Going to misas and giving evidencia, and going to a fiesta de muerto and allowing my muerto to pass through me and dance through me. And I was gonna be a babalao or an oluo, and do the whole ceremony. My dude said, yo, Ifa says you're meant to be in Ifa, and you're gonna get crowned, and you're gonna make you a babalao or an oluo. And I was like, word, I guess so, because I don't feel anything. And in Ifa, you're not supposed to feel anything. And if you do, they do ceremonies so that you don't feel anything. And I'm glad I didn't rush it, because I wouldn't have gone on the journey that I have gone. I would have gone straight into Ifa and missed this whole beautiful journey of Espiritismo that I've been on. I went from feeling nothing, guys. to now I can go to a misa confidently and be like, yo, I see this and this and this, and be able to feel my muerto close to me. And I don't need tobaccos to be with me. I don't need certain physical things that I needed before. So, you know, if I can do it, you can definitely do it. Let's all continue to develop and heed to the principles, the true principles of espiritismo, of fe, esperanza y caridad, of faith, hope, and charity. Okay? Luz y progreso para todo el mundo. H para ti, H para mí, H para mundo. Luz y progreso. Bonsoir la société y todo más.